Hey YouTube, what's up? Zero Magnum X here. Typically I haven't had my face through the internet like most duelists do, but I decided to get out in the open and start doing what most of you do. I have my deck list here. My fiance is recording right now, and I figured I would share it with you. It's on the new band list, and I have a love for monarchs, so I decided to build a deck around them. First, we're starting out with three staples. Caius. They're almost in every deck. Alrighty. Next, I run two oddball monarchs in the deck, which are Raza and Mobius. So I've seen people run two Raza, but I really do like Mobius. He can come in handy when the time arises. Two Cyber Dragon. Wonderful card, special summon. Can get you two monsters out or a tribute for a monarch. Three DD Warrior Ladies. That's not a typical card a lot of people are running, but it can be very nice. It can give you some advantage. Alright, next we have Spirit Reaper, typical monarch bait. These eventually will be two battle faders when I get them, but at the moment they're just their con feats, so they're half decent. I proxy them for the most part. Alright, two Honest. They attack nicely with Cyber Dragon and DD Warrior Lady, as well as Jane, who I have here. Alright, one Chaos Sorcerer. He's been pretty good in the deck. I don't know what your thoughts might be, but I think he runs pretty well. Alright, now for the three tuners of the deck. Three Krevans. They're pretty nice because they can stall whenever your opponent attacks. They can come out to be a tribute. You know, they're pretty versatile in this deck build. Alright, for the new list, a blessing for monarchs, I would have to say three Smashing Ground. They get rid of those threats that are just typically annoying whenever you need a card that doesn't target. Alright, two Book of Moon, handy against things like Stardust Dragon or, you know, Judgment Dragon, etc. Alrighty, the two back row clears. I don't run Cold Wave because this deck kind of needs its spells and traps to run well. When I get to the traps, you'll see what I mean. So these just help clearing back rows. Alright, Brain Control, staple, most people run it. Excellent for monarchs especially, take their big monster, tribute it. Alright, Emergency Teleporter for Krevans, comes in handy, either tune one of my monarchs into a synchro or tribute off Krevans for a monarch if I need to. Scapegoat, just a wonderful advantage card. I haven't seen it played in a lot of decks. I'm curious as to why, because it really can help you, especially if you're tuning in a deck. It's just a nice card. You can chain it on the end phase and other things. Alright, two Roll Decree to stop all those trap problems. You know, monarchs are susceptible to torrential tribute, among other things, bottomless trap hole, etc. Speaking of which, two bottomless trap hole. These two help. They're pretty much staples. Two Threatening Roar to stop those big bad attacks whenever they may happen. You never know when it could come in handy. Mirror Force, staple. I've heard a lot of people beginning to like this less and less because it isn't as chainable as some of the others, and I'm beginning to somewhat agree, but I still like it. So I'll keep it in for the time being until I see use not to use it. The next would be Royal Oppression. I know it seems odd with some of the special summons, but if I use it at the right time, it becomes a very powerful card. And it doesn't hurt the deck too much. Call of Bahamut, typical graveyard card. I don't know what to replace it with. It does give me a tribute if I need it. People are running Dark Bribes, which I'd like to get to for the deck. Right now they're in my fiance's Gigavise deck, so we'll see. And then finally, Solemn Judgment. Alright, this is a decent card. I've lost from using it, but I've also won games from it. So I give it a 50-50 rating. I don't think it's as good as some people to make it out to be. Alright, the next one we have coming up here are the Synchros. This is almost a typical Synchro deck. The first one is Mistworm. Good card, got it in a trade thanks to a buddy of mine. The next one, Red Dragon Archfiend. Pretty good. If your opponent's playing a lot of defense, it can clear them out quickly. Colossal Fighter, he comes back if he's destroyed by battle. That's just really, really good, and if you're versing a warrior deck, he gets a lot of attack power. Thought Roller Archfiend. Probably my favorite synchro for level 8 that's not a dragon type. He's just come in handy to me to an unbelievable amount. In most of my games, stops brain control, stops anything that targets. Probably will stop Gemini Sparks. And he gives you life points. That's always good. Avenging Knight Parshat, sorry. Oddly enough, he's usable in my deck. He comes out pretty nicely whenever I need to. This is also my typical synchro deck for all my decks. So, in other decks he's more effective than others. He's pretty nice too with this piercing ability. Staple for everybody, Stardust Dragon. If you don't have him, well, you need to get one. Black Rose Dragon, your typical field nuke. You never know whenever you might run into desperate moves for such. Ancient Fairy Dragon, I know a lot of people don't run this, but because I run Honest in my deck, he's more useful than what one might think. Another staple, Go-Yo Guardian. Who doesn't have one?
I don't.
Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth, just a nice speed stick. Also really good if you can get him out and tune him into something if you run into those situations and you need that level 8 out, or that level 7 if you run odd decks. But he's still pretty good. Some people might think it's a waste of a synchro, but he can be helpful, and he does have 2600. Bryonak, one of the best cards in the game, limited of course. Got that from a trade too. I run some odd ones here too. Most people only run level 5 for Catastor, but these are the 3 I run on top of Catastor is part of it. I run Magical Android, Sea Dragon Lord, and Catastor. They come in handy for odd situations, and you never know whenever they might come up. Okay, well, that's the general Monarch deck list I have. Take care, YouTube. Peace, and have a good night. Later.